Wave hello to the future.
Wave, 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 hello.
Welcome to the St. Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. I'm your host, Stan Lunn, and with me once again is...
Tiffany Silverbraun.
Welcome back, Tiff.
Great to be back.
So, how's life been treating you?
Pretty good. I got a new fish.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What
A
kind
beta
of fish?
A beta.
Beta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gotta keep those, the males and females of that species separated, don't you?
Yeah, we just got one.
Yeah. What'd you
And he has
name it?
Castle.
Castle?
Mm-hmm.
As in Frank Castle, the Marvel character, or...
No, we just have a castle for him. The girls named the fish, and they named him Pete Jr.
Ah. Okay, still kind of Disney themed.
Yeah.
Anything else new?
Not really. Not much.
No. We got some new stuff for Darkwing this week, though, didn't we?
Yep.
Yep. Loungefly released a Negaduck mini backpack and wallet set. I believe the backpack is $95 and the wallet is $40. Though if you buy both of them together, I guess it's only like $120. I wish I could have gotten one of those, but way too expensive, even if I had the money to spend, which I unfortunately didn't. But hey, Loungefly, if you're listening, I'd love a Negaduck backpack, if you will.
Yeah, I want the wallet. I have the Darkwing backpack, so I just want.
I couldn't even
wallet.
get that. I just can't afford stuff that's quite that expensive. Even though Will would have you believe I'm the most rich guy on the planet.
Yeah, they're pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Well, luckily though, they make really good quality stuff though. So.
Oh, I imagine so. You know,
yeah.
with all the brands, you know, you'd have to expect it'd be good quality stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of cool summer movies coming out. And
yeah, we're gonna see the Little Mermaid remake.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be going to the theater to see the new Spider-Verse movie in a couple weeks, and towards the end of June, I'll go to see the new Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely excited about both of those. But we are here to talk about comics, specifically Dynamite Darkwing Duck. And since this is your first full review of the Dynamite series, I thought it might be a good idea for you to give your thoughts on the Dynamite comics as a whole. You know, starting with issue 1 and working our way forward.
Yeah, I did a little review on one in a previous episode. When I read the first one, I was a little bit worried because of I don't know, it seemed like I don't know, the Boom comics and the Joe books, it seemed like, you know, they were still able to be read by kids but kind of geared more towards adults or something. And that first issue of this new series, it seemed like a straight up kids comic.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the artwork, it was like super on model, and I just didn't really see like a style there.
Yeah, it was a lot of it was stolen from other places. Like you could pick out shots that were reference sheets or plucked straight from certain episodes.
Yeah, so I was a little bit worried with that first issue. Second issue, I thought it got a lot better, like art wise for sure. It was awesome to see Quacker Jack. I think it was a little confusing. I don't know why, but him talking through Mr. Banana Brain.
Yeah.
A little like hard to tell that that's what was happening.
Ah.
I can see that being like a really difficult thing though to convey in a comic book.
Right.
But yeah, I thought definitely like the art got way better by the second one. I liked it. And then
I said yeah.
And then 3, is the bushroot one, right?
3 was the big Morgana one. Bushroot
Oh,
kind of was teased towards the end of it, but he didn't really show
okay.
up till the 4th one.
Yeah, the Morgana one. That one was obviously I'm gonna be happy when there's a Morgana story.
Yeah.
You got Moleculo, which is cool too.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, since we never really got to see much more of him after the show.
yeah,
Though, according to Aaron Sparrow, they had wanted to bring him back in their comics as well.
yeah. And then I like that they brought back the whole the breakfast what do you call it? Train I don't know what you call that from Darkly Dawns the Duck. The
Yeah, the
break
breakfast training course.
Yeah.
Stay sharp,
But
stay fit, stay fed.
yep, but it's in his house now and not in the tower.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was I think it was me and Mike talking about that before, just the idea of Morgana being domestic. So that was cool to like see that in a comic.
yeah.
Yeah, so that one was pretty good too. Again, the art keeps getting like better style wise. Um 4, that's the bushroot one.
Yep, that's the bushroot one.
Yeah, I thought that one was pretty cool. You don't really see much of Bushroot's personality in it though, which I wish you could see a little bit more of.
Yeah.
Um,
They didn't quite get him as correct as I would have liked.
yeah. I like that they brought back the pudding spell.
Yeah, that was fun.
And yeah, that one was pretty good too. Got more Moleculo. Um,
Yep. And by that point, I think the reliance on any sort of previous reference materials more or less gone. You know, I'm pretty sure by issue 4, Carlo Loro had really developed his own style for Darkwing, which really shines through, you know,
yeah,
going forward.
yeah, definitely. It's really cool to see
You
throughout the
know,
issues.
it's like a lot of the problems with the early issues have slowly but surely been getting fixed. That was one. The over reliance on weird sound effects was another one. Like the first issue was so hard to read from them, and they've gotten to where there's still some of them in the issue, but it's so much less. Like the issue we're going to talk about today has like 4 of them that I would consider to be bad.
Yeah, and it's definitely like with the first issue, I was worried that they were all going to be little short one-shot stories, and it's clear that they're going somewhere with what they're doing by this 4th
Yeah.
issue.
You
That's
mean
cool.
by the. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the Dynamite series so far as a whole, or is that pretty much everything you wanted to say on them?
Um, that's pretty much it. I mean, I still think I prefer the Boom and Joe books for sure, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, this series has started getting better, and as you'll as our listeners will come to find out by the end of this review, things are really going in a good direction.
Yep.
So, should we jump on into this review?
Yep.
So, for today, we are reviewing issue 5 of Dynamite's Darkwing Duck. Still no titles, as far as I can tell. That is one thing I still have kind of a gripe on. That I feel like every issue should have is either its own standalone title or like an arc title.
Yeah.
But that's a small nitpick. So, how do we begin this one, Tiff?
So we see an extreme close up of Darkwing's face, and he's getting stepped on, and you see that he's being massaged by a very aggressive masseuse with Launchpad.
Yep.
And he says, totally relaxed. Ah. And then they
I
offer
love
some.
that LP's eating the cucumber they put on his eyes.
Yeah. And
Non-embarrassing help is so hard to find.
then we see a woman walk up and she's offering him some Nourishing Organic Good Water from the Nourishing Organic Good Spa. And
Yep.
he squeezes it and you see basically ice cubes coming out of the bottle and it's freezing cold.
Yeah. Yes, we keep it below freezing. The cold is good for the health. It is reinvigorating.
Yep. And now the masseuse goes back to massage a frozen Darkwing and he basically cracks and shatters into a bunch of ice cubes on the table.
Yep. Though his head's still there. Yes,
Yeah.
rejuvenating seems to have taken me back to a molecular level.
Always with the whining.
Yeah, but LP comments on how the Nourishing Organic Good brand is all over the place. There's a Nourishing Organic Good supermarket, a Nourishing Organic Good coffee shop. Apparently, he even saw him selling stationery. How is stationery organic?
Yeah, then we get oh wait. Oh wait, and then wait, what is it?
Uh, so so then
It's just
TW says it's just branding.
yeah. And then we see a reveal that Darkwing is in his summer costume from Dry Hard, which I love.
Yeah. But he says that legends don't need to advertise. Besides, my proposal for Darkwing Duck's school for getting dangerous was rejected. People really coddle kids these days.
That reminds me of a Zoolander
Yeah,
for the Derek Zoolander school for kids that can't read good.
ah, maybe it's a reference to that. So LP asks who gave them the spa day, and DW says, "Oh, just one of my faithful fans who fawn festively at the feet of the fearless fowl who frightens fiends with flair." So, a secret admirer? Yeah, the alliteration is back.
Yeah,
Yay!
that's awesome.
So, DW and LP end up heading to the pool, and LP's asking him who owns the place, and DW responds with, "When one is given what he deserves, it's best not to ask any questions." Hey, doesn't that statue look familiar there, DW? That is technically a question. What is the statue, Tiff?
It is the concrete liquidator statue from the end of Dry Hard.
Yep. DW chalks it up just to be a reference to his famous deeds, but then a voice comes from it. Normal
Norm.
spa swims got you down? Feel a rumbling for a little something more? Try a refreshing new way to rejuvenate. Flush the old you down the drain and start over with the Liquidator.
Yeah, and he busts through
We
the
got
statue.
Liquidator, folks, and he sounds perfect.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, they really nailed his speech patterns in this. Like, bravo. That
And I
was
know
one of the
that
biggest things I was worried about.
yeah, and I know that writers complain about liquidator dialogue. So
Yeah.
that's awesome that
So,
they got it right.
yeah. So Liquidator is now starting to work our heroes over. This was supposed to be a relaxing spa day, not a total body workout. But DW, he uses a towel to wrap around a lady statue and pull himself out. Please don't tell Morgana. So, what DW bring with him that will help him in this situation?
His handy dandy homemade X-ray vision scope.
Which kind of resembles a gas gun, but without the handle and with like a couple extra scope pieces on it.
Yeah. I mean, if it was in the 90s, it would be like a total merchandising gimmick to
Oh,
have all
for
that.
sure. Unfortunately, those X-ray specs bring us to our Pirate Steven cameo, who is masseusing Herb Muddlefoot. Oh, pardon me, Herb. Not that you can see me, but I can't unsee that. But
And
what is DW looking for?
he sees the subatomic freezer.
Yep.
And then you see Launchpad, and he's definitely struggling.
Oh, yeah. But we get a let's get dangerous here as DW uses an impromptu surfboard, and we
Yep,
get some more wonderful Liquidator dialogue. Do you want to handle this one?
sure. Are you feeling a bit lost at sea? Allow me to introduce you to the wave of the future. And if you don't want to get caught looking all washed up, get one of these handy dandy Liquidator surfboards, guaranteed to float your boat with the unbelievably low price of $10,000 available in 5 easy payments. 555 easy payments.
It's my worst fear. Anthro-pomorphic surfboards. And yes,
Okay,
in addition to Liquidator, we've got the return of the anthropomorphic Liquidator cheer squad, I guess we'll call them, for lack
yeah,
of a better word.
the
Similar
dancing
to the
girl.
lobster women or
Yeah,
the
I
water
love that. I love
models.
that Launchpad the is freaked out by the dancing girls' different outfits.
Yeah. Surf, 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 surf away.
Yikes,
And
that's creepy.
DW, yeah. And DW does surf, 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 surf away into the freezer, riding on a wave that Liquidator has created. And we get
Mm-hmm.
some more pretty good Liquidator dialogue. Wave hello to the future. Wave, 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 wave hello. But Darkwing tells him it's time to chill out, and with an atomic slam, he closes Liquidator into the subatomic freezer.
Yep. And Liquidator says a little chill isn't going to slow me down.
Luckily for Darkwing and Launchpad, the subatomic freezer isn't a little chill.
Yeah, and we see the dancing girls freezing the surfboard.
Yeah, which does beg a question. Like, I know Liquidator's just going to turn into solid ice, and something else in there will turn into solid ice, but the dancing girls, did Darkwing just murder a couple people?
I
Because it seems to me like he might have just murdered a couple people.
yeah, that's a good point.
Uh, anyway, though, once again, Darkwing Duck has heroically frozen crime in its tracks, and Launchpad remarks that it was easy. Too easy.
Yeah. So then we see Liquidator. He's starting to frost a little bit, and he says, "Abominable minions, now in convenient plastic packaging." And you see the little water goblins all pouring out of the bottles.
And almost instantly themselves freezing. So
Mm-hmm.
Liquidator exclaims, looks like we are going out of business, but we'll be back and better than. And at that point, he finishes freezing solid.
Yep.
And Launchpad asks if Darkwing's worried that he's going to escape, and DW says, not unless the power goes out, but right now I have a bigger villain to deal with.
Yep.
So we cut to outside, and the signs are all around Darkwing, aren't they?
Yep. You got the Nourishing Organic Good Market, the Nourishing Organic Good TV, hotel, hair salon, gym.
Taxi.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's signs all around, and Darkwing says he's missing something bigger than Liquidator. He usually uses his own brand, and Darkwing's never heard of this one before. And LP asks if he's working with someone. DW says, I think he's working for someone. And I love this bit here. LP says, but his ego's almost as big as yours is, DW. How dare you? No one has ever had an ego as big as mine. You said it, DW. So they get into the Thunderquack to see if they can track down the villain. And Darkwing gets a phone call, doesn't he?
Yep. And it is Goslin, but on Honker's phone.
Yep.
And
Goslin, what are you doing on Honker's phone? Well, how else would I get a hold of you since you won't give me my own phone?
yep, I'm expecting something to happen with that later on.
Probably. It does keep coming up. And we
Yeah.
get half of Goslin's catchphrase finally. Only half of it, though. Because Darkwing says he's got a mystery on his hands, and Goslin says, "Oh, Keen! May I come help?" So we got
Yep.
half of a Keen gear, but not a whole Keen gear yet. Maybe in the next issue.
Yep.
But
So,
Darkwing says that Goslin's going to stay at school where she's safe now that
mhm,
Bushroot is safely behind hedge trimmers. And
yeah,
I have to say I love the little asterisks saying, "Oh, look back to this issue for that." You know,
yep.
it feels very Marvel
That's what
Comics
I was
esque.
gonna say. It's very Marvel.
So, what event is going on at the school right now?
So they're having an assembly, a stupid assembly about changing the school's name.
Finally going to name it Darkwing Duck Elementary, huh? Who the heck is George Quackington anyway? I'm assuming that's the Duck versus version of George Washington.
Yeah. And yeah, she reveals that they're changing it to the Nourishing Organic Good Elementary School.
Yep. And they're getting some random new principal. Apparently, they're getting rid of Principal. Is it Flossie or Flossie?
I am not sure.
Like, I know she appeared in an episode, but I don't remember how her name was pronounced. But
Yeah.
apparently, they're getting rid of her. They didn't even give her a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that Nourishing Organic Good brand sure is taking over St. Canard. So
Yep.
apparently Goslin doesn't think she'd miss anything important, but DW says that she's going to stay there where it's safe. So what does Goslin decide to do?
She says, "Fine, I'll just stage a walkout in support of Principal Flossie."
Wait, don't stage up. Boop. But Darkwing, he he says something which finally makes it all click. Goslin staging a walkout. This is no good. No good. No good. No good. It all makes sense now.
Yep.
Yep.
N-O good.
Yep.
Nourishing
Nourishing
Organic Good.
organic good. Yep. And up, I will say it was pretty clever writing because even knowing who the villain was in this, I didn't even put that together at
Yeah, me
first.
either.
You know, nor did our friend Jordan Ferber. So apparently they're so now DW and Launchpad are heading to the school. They're still in the Thunderquack. So we
Yep.
transition to the school where Goslin and Honker and a few other students, including one who is dressed suspiciously like Max Goof, are
Yeah.
doing their strike.
And he's just holding a sign that says, "Stop."
Yeah. This strike is serious, right, Honker? I don't know. New principal Dr. No Good did say we can have all the candy we want from the vending machines. Well, why didn't you say so? Long live Principal Dr. No Good. Typical kid response.
Yeah.
But yeah, so apparently their new principal is Dr. No Good.
Yeah. And
So
you see them in a candy food coma after eating like half of the vending machine supply.
I'd say that's more like over 3/4 because those things were full and they are almost empty now.
Yeah.
So we see our villain, Dr. No Good in shadow, saying, "Excellent, eat up, children, and then we'll have our assembly." And a couple henchmen are escorting the former principal out, one of whom apparently has been based on the handsome Squidward face.
Yep. Then we cut to the assembly where we see Dr. No Good, and he says, ahem, there are going to be a few changes around. And then they get interrupted by the thunderquack crashing into the um
Building.
Yep.
And we do get an entrance here. I am the terror who flaps in the night. I am gym class on the day you forgot to wear deodorant. I am Darkwing Duck. And I thought you vanished.
And he says, rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated, which is similar to the Mark Twain quote, but it's also the title of a pop punk band song by Rise Against.
Yeah. We should also mention that as Darkwing's doing his entrance, he also throws a dodgeball at Dr. No Good and hits him in the chest with it.
Mm-hmm.
But Dr. No Good's apparently got himself a bit of an army, doesn't he?
Yep. You see like white kind of zombified eyes of all the children.
Which are also glowing red around the outlines.
Yep. And they're all throwing dodgeballs at Darkwing.
Yep. Way to dodge, DW. I was the dodgeball champion of 19... years aren't important.
Yeah, I love that they're keeping that stuff ambiguous. Like, he's not saying the date. And when he said he was, I think it was the last issue, he said he was 35-ish.
Yeah. So apparently what is important is figuring out why the kids are attacking him, which Dr. No Good reveals is Nourishing Organic Good Candy, guaranteed to satisfy your sweet tooth and control your mind.
Yep.
So what happens next?
So he mentions he asks if he asked Megavolt this, and we get another C, Darkwing #1, and he says, oh, I did. He inspired the plan, and Liquidator helped me pull off the marketing. You see, I'm getting the evil band back together, which...
Ooh.
Yeah.
So Darkwing thinks that it was foul. That ball was completely in bounds. No, not foul like ball, foul like Goslin?
Fiendish organization for world larceny. Has a ring to it. Maybe I'll join.
And we see Honkers there as well.
Yep.
Very, very evil looking Honker, actually.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Like, don't get me wrong, all of the kids, they're being controlled look a little sinister, but Honker especially so.
Mm-hmm.
So Darkwing says, but guys, you can't go against me. And she says, I can, and I'll anticipate your every move, as she hits him right in the face with a dodgeball.
Yeah, it's a pretty great there.
Yeah. Oh yeah? What about this brand new hoverboard? And unfortunately, it's not drawn in the Back to the Future style.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, you may know me too well, but I also know you, which means I can get through to you if I can just... And Darkwing gets knocked out of the building by another dodgeball. Oof, remind you of who you are, of who I am? Yeah, you got hit a few too many times there.
Then we see him running out of the building, and the rat catcher is outside waiting for him.
Yep. Now, this is one of my big gripes here, because Darkwing and Launchpad arrived in the Thunderquack. So, as to why the rat catcher is sitting outside of the school with his helmet sitting on the seat, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe he has some sort of a remote control that he can call the rat catcher to him or something.
Oh, yeah, like Batman style.
Yeah. So he drives the rat catcher into the school, dodging a bunch of dodgeballs being thrown at him, and he grabs Gosalyn, jams the helmet on her head, and says, "Never fear, little miss. Darkwing Duck has you now." Wait, I've heard that before. We have heard that before, haven't we, Tiff?
Yep, it's directly from Darkly Dawns the Duck when he first picks up Gosalyn to rescue her from Hoof and Mouth.
Yep. I love that callback is there. It feels so right.
Yep.
So Darkwing drives off with Gosalyn still under control, sitting behind him. "Please excuse me for a moment, Dr. No Good." "Oh, of course. Take your time. I'll just condition my new army."
Yep.
So Darkwing and Gosalyn are having a little bit of a fight on the rat catcher. We get a body punch sound effect, which is a little weird. And what does Darkwing say here?
That's the spirit I so came to admire. And she says spirit, which again, another Darkly Dawns the Duck callback.
Yep.
And
Yes, the pluck and spirit that touch the heart of the stoic sentinel of the shadows.
and we see her eyes go back to normal now.
Yep, and she hugs Darkwing, and we end with Darkwing and Gosalyn on the rat catcher with sunset behind them, with the dialogue bubble. "And now to take care of Dr. No Good. Let's get dangerous together."
Aww.
Yeah, that is such a wholesome moment. And that is where we wrap the comic up. So, thoughts on this issue?
I really liked this one a lot. Obviously, with the Liquidator.
Yeah.
And yeah, really you actually get more into like a solid plot here. Like it all was going somewhere. Makes it so you're anticipating what's going to happen in the next issue.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just fun.
So, what kind of rating would you give this one?
I think I'm going to give it a 4.5.
All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. So, my thoughts on this one, I love this issue. This is the best issue that they've done so far. I'm hoping it gets better from here, but this is definitely the peak at the moment. I love that they got Liquidator just right. You know, almost every bit of dialogue I can hear the characters actually saying.
Yep.
There is more of a plot to this one. The sound effects, like the weird sound effects, have been toned down. You know, there's still a couple inconsistencies. Gosalyn's still not using her full, catchphrase. The weird random appearance of the rat catcher. And I love the fact that we're not relying on model sheet stuff. Like even for Liquidator, who
Yep.
hadn't appeared yet, like none of the Liquidators, stuff here could I say, "Oh, I remember that pose from this episode."
Yeah, other
You
than the
know, it,
statue.
other than the statue, but that was a direct callback, so that was, more than okay in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely cool how they did him because he's a character that you I think you could definitely have a lot of artistic license with, and they totally took it.
The only other gripe I would have is that Launchpad kind of appears to disappear after they crash into the building. I mean, he says something off screen, when he says way to dodge DW, but aside from that, we don't see him at all. So that's a little weird. It feels like they
Mm-hmm.
kind of pumpkined Launchpad a little bit for this, but again, it's forgivable. So with all of the things that were great in this issue, I'm actually giving this one 5.
Nice.
This is the first 5 I've given this comic, and I hope it's not going to be the last because this was peak Darkwing Duck comic reading for this series. And if it continues to get better, we are in for one amazing trip.
Yeah. Especially
You
since
know,
there's only one Fearsome 5 member left.
Which we may see in the next one. I know the next issue he's actually going to be the action figure cover variant for that issue.
Yeah.
So one has to suspect that we may be seeing him rear his head in that.
I haven't gotten any of the action figure ones. I wish I did.
I have the Darkwing and the Morgana. I still need to track down the Bushroot, the launch pad, and of course now the Liquidator. But I do intend to.
Wish I had the Morgana and the Liquidator one.
Yeah. Well, Liquidator is still going to be easy enough for you to find, since it's brand new. Morgana shouldn't be too hard either. Like the going rate for these is somewhere between 10 to 20 bucks.
Yeah.
Which is a little much, but I think they're worth it since the action figure covers are some of the best looking covers.
I mean,
yeah,
very frequently all the time.
Yeah, and I will say that's another little gripe I still have is that a lot of the covers still have been pretty rough.
Yeah, I got cover E. How about you?
Actually, we have the same cover.
Oh, nice.
The one where that weirdly drawn Darkwing is at the bottom and Dr. No Good and his cat are above him.
Yep.
Yeah. Not the cover I wanted. I would have preferred cover F, which had Liquidator front and center with Darkwing silhouette behind him.
Yeah, I wanted that one too. The one that I like the least though is the A cover. I really did not like.
My friend bought that one actually. I don't know why. I like the place I went, they actually had the cover of Darkwing being stuffed into the locker and the Trish Forstner cover. I probably should have grabbed one of those.
Yeah, the cover Q, there's so many. The Q,
oh yeah,
really nice.
The Q too. And the R one's really nice too, as well, with Darkwing and the Quivering Quack.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
But I can't wait to see how this first arc wraps up. I think the arc as a whole is called Foul Play. At least that's what they're titling the trade paperbacks. The collections when they come out. I put in my order for all 3 of those earlier today, actually.
Nice.
Which means I'm actually in a position where I can give some pricing on those, actually. The soft cover one is $20. The regular hardcover, I believe, is $30 or $35. And for $40, you'll be able to get the signed hardcover.
I'm going to go right in the middle and get the $30 one.
I've ordered all 3.
Nice.
Well, like I said, I kind of learned my lesson with not buying Darkwing trade collections with all the Boom and Joe Books ones, so yeah. I'm not getting left out again. So any more thoughts on this issue, or have we pretty much covered this one?
I think we got it.
All right. Any shout outs you want to give? For this week?
Say that again?
Any shout outs you want to give for this week?
No, maybe a shout out to Duck Talk since I noticed them so much in the comic series.
Yeah. Well,
yep.
Yeah, I guess shout out to Duck Talks. I actually do have a couple shout outs I want to give. They're both birthday shout outs. First off, I want to give a special birthday shout out to our own co-founder, Mike Russo, who had a birthday this past week. So happy birthday, Mike. We miss you, buddy.
Happy birthday. Yep.
And I also want to give a birthday shout out to Jonathan Beltran, whose birthday was just a couple days ago. So happy birthday to you, sir.
To you
stay dangerous. One last thing before we start doing our wrap up. We do have one announcement to make. And I wanted to save this towards the end of this one, but after this episode is dropped, you'll notice the St. Canard Files is actually going to switch to a bi-weekly format. So you'll get an episode every other week.
All right.
So, yeah. We'll still be bringing you great content, and we'll still be active on all our social medias, but it was a decision we came to that that's the best way to preserve the longevity of the podcast, because it is a little hard to bring things every week, especially when we're only down to like comic book reviews and the occasional non-Darkwing episode to review as well.
Yep.
So we are the St. Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. You can find us on all podcast apps as well as YouTube. Anywhere the folks can find you that you want to mention, or?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Tiffany Silverbraun and on YouTube at Radioactivity.
And I have my 2 YouTube channels, DMC Jedi Man and DMC Jedi Man Gaming. But thank you again for listening to this episode. And until next time, stay dangerous and try not to run afoul of any dancing anthro-pomorphic surfboards.
Bye.